Hello and welcome all Earth signs. This is going to be your pick a card reading, but the catch is I'm not going to label or even like put the intention for which sign is which deck. This is just going to be Earth signs in general, and for you to kind of use your intuition a bit more and not feel too pressured to one reading because it's a Taurus reading and you're a Taurus sign or you're a Capricorn and you must listen and resonate with the Capricorn one. I don't want to do any of that. I kind of want to give you guys some free range to be able to use your intuition and trust it a bit more. So, we're going to get started here by pulling some oracle cards to kind of pick which one works for you. And we're going to be using one of my favorites, the Animal Spirit Oracle. I absolutely love the art style on this deck, and I love the Kim Kranz Oracle decks because there's a whole like collection that this author has created. And we're going to pull a card, and that way I'll give you guys some time to see which card resonates for you. Alright, what do we have for, this is group 1, 2, and 3. Group 1, you have the Goddess Tarot. Group 2 is the Hermetic Tarot. And group 3 is the Wildwood Tarot. So, just a little note there. I will probably be reminding you in each groups. But let's get into it. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. What does group 1 need to see or hear to know that that group is for them? Ooh, we have the wolf, but it's in reverse here, so we'll keep it that way. Almost like an inner fire is being lit there. It's kind of what it looks like. Alright, group 2, the Hermetic Tarot. What do they need to see or hear to know that it's for them? Oh my. Okay, no, I was wondering why they all kept coming out in reverse. Some decks, like this Wildwood Tarot one, all of the cards are all upright because usually this deck will act a little funky, and if a card is meant to come out in reversed, it will mean it, and it will come out in reversed. I've seen it happen plenty of times. Also, this deck is very versatile in its meaning, so you really don't need to see the reversed card to understand the reversed energy that may be at play. But for the Hermetic Tarot group, we have the Bat. And I love the way that moon. I'm getting the sense that, think back to the last full moon. Whenever you're watching this is kind of a timeless thing. Think back to what was going on, like physically, emotionally, spiritually, externally, what was going on during the last full moon. If that full moon is now when you're watching this, well, just think about what's going on right now. And maybe the next full moon as well. Oh, hello. That was me. I almost dropped the whole deck. Alright, let's get a card for the Wildwood Tarot. What does the Wildwood Tarot group need to see in order to know it's for them? Oh, hello. Oh, 2? The Nightingale. That one came out reversed. And the Peacock. You fluffing some feathers there. It's kind of interesting how similar some of the colors are, because I don't know if you can see it in the moon. It has a little bit of like some blue hues to it. Alright, that is going to be it. Sometimes you get 2 cards, sometimes you get 1. We shall see. So I will give you guys a minute to kind of sit with the cards and see what you feel like is meant for you. Alright? Take your time, do whatever you need to do, and I will leave you to it. All right, to group one, you have the wolf. And this is a very, very interesting card to come out in reverse because a lot of the times, wolf energy is always like for the pack, for the family, for a community of people that you surround yourself with, or a community that you feel like you're a part of, if that could just be online. Um, this is almost like a feeling of trying to work through that everyone doesn't have to, in quote, follow suit with the leadership that you probably embody, the leadership that you offer. What in the world? I don't know where that came from. This little black speck. Probably need to do a little wipe down of my desk a bit because I also do my makeup on here sometimes, so it's probably from that. Um, but the wolf energy being in reverse, it's not like you are too stubborn to not let people like follow their own sort of way. But there is this feeling of like it almost feels like, damn, I wish I could like let people know um how the way that you do something just is super beneficial, and it doesn't even have to be your exact way. I feel like you just want to show them a guiding light, and weirdly enough, the fact that people may not want to follow suit makes you want to walk your talk a whole lot more. Like, this is where I feel like there's that kind of spark, that fire being lit. And the fact that this is for earth signs, anytime I get that fire energy in like in a very, very um good light per se, uh there's this feeling of like a bonfire that almost will never go out. And it's not about like fire and earth will essentially create like scorched earth. There's a bunch of metaphors that aren't too horrible because essentially when um, something kind of scorches the earth or like just like basically burns away a whole forest, there is a lot of fertile ground that can be renewed out of what was burned away. Like the ash can go back into the earth and create even more fruitful soil for the next thing you want to plant in a metaphorical sense. But in this sense, it almost feels like a bonfire that will never go out. And I remember seeing this is coming to me now with this metaphor as well. I remember seeing someone who does a lot of like uh, outdoorsy like camping stuff, but like we'll go into like tundras and whatnot. I'm gonna say that very generally and kind of generalizing certain things, but like basically going out and camping at certain parts in Alaska. And Alaska gets very cold. There's very much snow like 90% of the year. Um, but he showed this method to where he dug a hole down. I don't know if he was building a fire on top of the snow because of how like deep it was, but I'm pretty sure he like dug a hole through the snow down to the ground, had a fire, and then um what essentially happened, I think he did dig into the ground a bit because what he did is that when he put the fire out, or the fire went out, he was making sure that the wood he was putting on was going to create a lot of coals and like create hot coals. And then he buried those hot coals and was explaining how this would essentially create like a really warm spot for any sort of camping or like survival tactic kind of a thing. And so the method of burying these hot like ashy coals that were still like very much like you could cook off of it kind of hot coal um is kind of this energy that you're exuding. And I know that's a very like roundabout way of explaining it, but it feels like the fire that's kicked in inside you, you get reminded and you bury it deep so you can keep your sense of direction. um and not even just like keeping like your head on your shoulders kind of a thing, but this warmth of this metaphor I'm getting is like the warmth of your passions and how excited you get over like pursuing them, and pursuing them passionately is what I'm feeling and hearing. So we're gonna move on to the tarot here because I'm quite curious. We have the Goddess Tarot here with us, and very, very beautiful tarot deck, and I love how it's not like the traditional shaped card here. I kind of like how it's a little more square. I just like funky tarot decks like that. We'll flip this around because I feel like it's kind of necessary for the time being. And there's something about like it's okay if someone doesn't want to follow your method. The fact that you were able to express this to somebody is something to be like, I want to say aware of, or even curious about, because you don't know if that person's going to remember that little bit of information that you told them like 10 years down the road, maybe 3 years down the road, whatever it may be, 3 months even. And I feel like this is you, each and every time that you have your chance to like share your story and share like how you did something, how you stay so determined or even disciplined and grounded, you earth sign, grounded in yourself and your passions and what you want to do with your life and how you like walk your talk basically. You may feel that there is like an over explaining that needs to be done, but don't discredit like what you're actively talking about, because it needs to be heard by the people who are maybe asking questions or curious about like what you're doing, because that's kind of how we learn as like human beings. Like we kind of may see someone being super determined and find our own determination through it, and I think that's what I was trying to say of like it's okay if people don't follow suit, because you know that the best way to teach someone and the best way for someone to learn is to learn by example. And to see you walking your talk is very inspirational to some people. So don't feel down that someone may not get the message right away or understand it right away, because I think that's kind of the point here. Damn, okay. Ooh, 8 of Pentacles, there's that work there. And we have the Wheel of Fortune with Lakshmi. There's a bunch of different goddesses in this, that's why it's called the Goddess Tarot. 8 of Pentacles reversed, the Wheel of Fortune, Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, like, you've been on this walking your talk thing, and it's nothing new. But the weird thing I feel like now is that you're at a point where you can start sharing your knowledge, and even if people don't follow it exactly, there's always something, like, kind of new around the corner with this being able to like teach people the things that you spent so much time like teaching yourself. And I feel like it's a little intimidating, because maybe it's not even the fact that you're like, oh, people won't listen to what I have to say. Maybe there's a bit of nervousness about people even listening to what you have to say. Maybe you want to teach some people how to do the things that you do. But somewhere maybe long ago, there were people maybe that didn't really want to hear you out. And I feel like the biggest one, biggest example, that's really hard to like explain to people is when people want to become healthy. Whether that is reach a certain body weight goal or just have a healthier diet, you have to have a really like deep talk with yourself, and then there's a part of it that is just discipline. Like you have to discipline yourself to not eat as much sweets, and if you eat some sweets, you gotta make sure you eat some of the good stuff and eat maybe less sweets, because it's not like you completely remove stuff out of your diet, but there's a lot that goes into making sure that you have the correct and proper nutrients that your specific body needs. But there's no like easy shortcut to these things. There's no easy workout that's gonna give you abs or like big biceps in like 2 weeks. It takes a lot of time determination and discipline. And you have to be okay with being uncomfortable. And not many people really want to hear that. And I feel like that's maybe why you feel a little distant to maybe sharing people this knowledge or sharing your knowledge with people. But I feel like there's somewhere where you can start, and I feel like this is where this Ace of Pentacles is coming in. If someone's asking questions, don't be afraid to give them the hard answers. And don't be afraid to say, yeah, it is tough. And if this was easy, everyone would be doing it, kind of a thing. But it's not. These things are never easy. And I feel like you have also worked on something. Some of you have been working on something so long that I feel like now you're starting to see the new sort of fruits of your labor, per se. You're starting to see more of your mindset change around something the more you see like the fruits of your labor working out for you. And the Eight of Pentacles feels like you've just been on autopilot for like such a long time here, that now the stuff that you're working on is going to shift into a whole new way of doing things. And I don't even feel like you need to give up something. It's just like there is a next level to this that you are now reaching, and it took a lot of time. It took a lot of going through different cycles, learning different lessons, and also overcoming a lot of different obstacles, whether it's internally or externally, that led you to this point where I feel like not only is it feel like a lot of good stuff is coming in for you, but it's not going to sit around and like wait for you to be ready. If you're ready, take the opportunity as you see it. And if you feel like you're not ready, it's almost acknowledge that, okay, this has to come around again. Like I feel like there's something that's like a full moon, like you want to do a full moon spell, or a new moon spell, and you miss it. You miss the full moon, something happened. All right, we gotta wait for it to come around again. And something about this is like you're not waiting anymore. There is no more waiting. You're done waiting. You're done doing a lot of like tiptoeing around opportunity here. Like if you want it, you're going to take it, and you're not going to do it in a way that's like fake, false, or full of ego. Like this is truly like you need this, you want this, you have prepared yourself this whole time for a moment like this. And I feel like it's not going to be entirely clear to you like currently right now, and I want to say maybe in like the next sort of couple days watching this, you probably will kind of understand. Like it could just be an epiphany, a mindset, an awakening that just happens, and you're like, I want to change how I do this and how I feel about this. Best way I can kind of come up with this example is I'm an earth sign, so I'm probably going to resonate with some of the stuff here. And I also just use a lot of examples in my life to kind of explain metaphors in the real world, and explain kind of like what they could look like. I talk about health all the time, because I'm a dancer and I get a lot of life lessons out of dancing, but I'm really trying to get to a next level of dancing. And I've been doing that for like a while now. The first like year that I was really serious about it, I started with my like diet. I started with my nutrition. Like I'm not eating enough of this particular thing, like whether it be potassium, iron, carbs, maybe too much carbs, or maybe not enough carbs, maybe not the correct carbs, you know? So currently I am now in a whole new mindset that I really enjoy the work that I put in, even if I have to make myself uncomfortable. And I think that's the active ingredient that's going to kickstart something for you. And I really truly want to say that you had to take this time. And I want to say, don't be beating yourself up that it took however long amount of time, because I feel like something about the Wheel of Fortune is like you guys are really hung up on the cycles that played out and the time that something took, and I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. That you feel like, damn, this took a while and I wish we could have had this sooner. But at the same time, there's something that's kind of fated and destined, and something that has to take its time in order to be manifested in such a great big way. And also, the best things, the best projects, the best like passions come with time. The best product of your passion comes with the time that you take in it. It's not going to happen in just like a couple months, is what I'm hearing. There's something that is just like been here your whole life that you've constantly been working on. And I feel like you've been almost forgetting that all of this work led you to a very advanced point. And I want you to sit here and believe in yourself. And also, it's okay if people you care about aren't wanting to like follow the method of your madness per se. The best thing you can do for them, and if you really just love and care about them, just continue to love and care about them in your own way. You have your own journey right now. This is not just a journey of solitude. This is a journey of you moving forward. I think that's what also is new about this. You are moving forward with all of the people that you care about and that care about you, but you're moving insanely to the beat of your own drum, and not insanely to the part where you're like, you're crazy. No, you're not crazy. This is something where you are moving to obviously the beat of your own drum, but it's also like you're moving in your own way, that it's okay if people don't fully follow you down this path, because this one was just meant for you. And people are actually happy and proud of you for moving in this way, and I feel like there's no need to feel bad that you can't take anyone with you. I feel like you still can take them like with you in your heart, and they'll cheer you on regardless. And even if it's just one person, like, you have that person that's gonna stick with you, okay? Journeys like this, where we're still surrounded by people we love and care about, are something really, really intricate that we have to understand. Like, hey, we spent a lot of time on something. We now have a very clear path opening up for us, and we have to go down it, regardless of if we're going to be completely alone in the tasks that are going to be done down the line. The tasks that are going to be completed down the line. Technically the Emperor card, but it's Freya with power. The discipline, the structure that you're building is something so intricate, so beautifully ideal for your situation, that you are sitting here like, if I don't choose this, if I don't advocate for myself while still loving my community, still loving the people that I care about, I won't ever see this opportunity ever again for a long while. And I want to say, whatever you need to do, whatever you need to work on to, you know, continue this journey into the long term, whatever you feel like you need to, like, metaphorically pack for the future, start doing that, whether it's with knowledge or just like physical things, making sure you have something prepared. And like, I guess example for me is like, I just meal prepped one of my first like really good high protein and really, really like good complex carb kind of meal for myself, and it is super tasty. I've never really had quinoa before, and I wanted it to be in something super savory, so I made this like chicken quinoa dish, and I meal prepped it, and it's so tasty. But the next step for that, for me, would be, because this just kind of like gave me the idea to use this as an example, while I love that dish, I know I'm going to need more stuff to like meal prep and kind of take with me into different weeks where I may need like different nutrients and something. So it's something to explore and to do research on. But it's also this like level to it of whether it be knowledge or like actually preparing things like meal prepping. Take the time, because this is for the long term. This is the key to all of this. Everything that you're working on and preparing yourself for, to step into this new energy, this new mindset. All of this has been for the long term, because I feel like you're entering not just a more advanced like part of your life, but you're entering this stage that's like you are going to get everything that you put into your work. Like every bit of energy and ounce of care and love and determination and discipline you are going to get out of like what's the word? What's the phrase? It's not the I'm thinking of the you can have your cake and eat it too, but you made the cake. Like you made the batter, made the icing, made it all fancy like, and you get to eat it. You get to watch your work pay off. And I think this is something that stay on course, stay determined, because the biggest thing that's being planted right now for you, which is the Ace of Pentacles to me, I see this as a seed being planted, is this new path. Everything's kind of been very much like mundane and maybe like the same sort of here and there. But now this is a whole new big path for you where everything's going to start looking different, feeling different, even just energetically different. And I want you to be self-aware and maybe even just continue, if you aren't already journaling, start journaling. But if you are someone who journals, definitely continue to journal. It's going to be a reminder of like how, not necessarily like how difficult something was at first, but how easier it got the more work you put in. Sorry, I just had to take a sip of my caffeine. Excuse me. What else does group 1 need to hear? Because this power, this determination is coming from you. So don't even let that slide. Like maybe that's also what you can't miss out on, is this opportunity of power you feel in your own ability to do something, to move forward with your passions, to move forward with the work that you want to pursue. And I bet you've been getting signs out the wazoo, out the booty of these things. You have been getting crazy amount of signs, and I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, everything's a sign. Like, I feel like you've just been getting so many signs in the sense of like, oh, here's this other person working hard doing something, and that's kind of like you see it in media, or maybe someone's sharing a story about something, and sometimes it takes like a long journey. Like people who go to college, like family may not see them as often, but those 4 years are going to lead up to a specific degree that they want to move into, and we're just going to use sort of any like lawyer, doctor, or researcher that has to go to college to learn that higher education, and it takes 4 years, maybe even 6 years, depending on how on what degree that they want to go for, even if they want to get their master's degree in something. This takes a lot of time, but there are people out there, like your pack, your group, your community is still going to love you even if they can't be by your side 24/7 during this journey. They kind of see the signs around you too and are almost like, well, I feel like people looking at you with this I want to say Page of Wands. This is Page of Wands. The imagery tells me it's Page of Wands. This is so like key to this whole reading, because people see you as this Page of Wands, which says Prince of Wands, and they're kind of looking at you from the outside looking in, which is sometimes how I see this is how I see reverse stuff, is like either like inner thoughts here, things you already know, things you're already working on over here. Oh, we got 2 8s. I just realized we have we have the 8 of Pentacles and the 8 of Wands here. So the Page of Wands, the Prince of Wands, people are looking at you from the outside looking in, being like, oh yeah, they're just gonna take this opportunity right away. And If they don't, they're probably going to look at you and question you a little bit. But at the same time, the people who really know you know that this is a big step. This is a big step. This takes a lot of discipline. And they're very proud of you, even if you are a little nervous about it. Even if you're a little unsure, uncertain about how the future may look. I feel like you have to give yourself an honest, like, talk of, hey, you were just that younger version of yourself, whether it be younger you was 20 years old or younger you was 5 years old. It doesn't matter. This younger version of yourself can help you remind yourself of why it's so important to keep working, why it's so important to push through, carry on, and move forward in this, I want to say, not only passionate path that you're on, but it's very intuitive, and you are walking your talk. And it's so important because I feel like it's manifested so much for you already. And now you're kind of almost getting out of this stage of the page card and moving into the knight energy, which is a very, like, moving forward with purpose. This is maybe just a whole big message to hype yourself up in order to keep that determination fluid and flowing. But also acknowledge that determination, discipline, there's an ebb and flow into all of that. How we all work is very different, and when we find that ebb and flow that works for us, excuse me, we are essentially, when we take time to rest and, like, just have those, like, very like low energy moments, that, not like low as in bad, but like low energy of like not much is going on. When we have those moments in life, it reminds us that we can rejuvenate ourselves, rejuvenate our soul in order to keep working hard. And it's something that I feel like just comes with practice, and you know this. And you know how much power there is in choosing this path. Now, you don't have to just choose all of the ideas and all of the signs and take them all into one thing, but you have to pick one and you have to try. Because a lot of the signs could be leading to different things of, like, your mindset versus what you need to do externally. Because that's a big thing here. Oh, we have the Fool card technically reversed. It just says beginnings here, but it is the Fool card. Four of Pentacles. I'm gonna maybe get 5 cards out here. So 3 more. 7 of Cups. Reversed. That was kind of popping out. 10 of Swords. Reversed. Last card, possibly. Oh, hello. King of Cups reversed, with the Prince of Pentacles, which is also the Page of Pentacles, on the bottom here. So, the Fool, 4 of Pentacles, 7 of Cups, 10 Swords, and King of Cups. You are very much reworking your whole entire inner being here. And what I mean by that is that you understand how important your mentality is when you move into this energy, when you move into this new energy that you feel a lot of power in and a lot of motivation in. Excuse me. Hold on. Let me get a sip of my drink. Excuse me. You feel so much determination and power in this, that the most important thing that you do is you don't hesitate. You don't hesitate to put down the things that maybe keeping you limited, whether it be in your mindset, your just environment, what is physically going on for you. You know the choices you need to make, and I feel like it's a no-brainer. But these things have to come up in this way so you can constantly remind yourself what you're letting go of. 10 of Swords. And what you're letting go of is what feels almost like a spiral of why you can't do something, or a spiral of worrying, of, oh, well, this will probably happen, and this may happen, and this may happen. and worrying about it instead of preparing yourself for it. And I think that's the big thing of like, you can only prepare yourself for one thing at a time here. So don't beat yourself up because you weren't able to do everything at once, because this is going to take like you're gonna have to do this like one by one, and challenge yourself to handle each and every different mindset one by one. And I think that's the big key here of like, you intuitively feel your best when you understand this has to be done like one by one. And it's not easy to really get to that point always. So that's what a big reminder of like all of this is. And that's where the Page of Pentacles kind of comes in up right here, is where you are reminding yourself of all of the different journeys that it took to reach this point, to reach this mentality and mindset. And I feel like the thing that hypes you up the most is, I'd be damned if I'd let myself get in the way of what is intuitively and truly meant for you in this path. And this is where the King of Cups is almost shaking out all of that, not necessarily immature energy or immature emotional, or emotional immaturity, because it's not about being immature, or just, it's not about the maturity part. It's more of just the shaking out all of the emotional worry. And sometimes it's just, there's things that like we can say, oh, this just gets the better of me, or gets the best of me, and it's hard for me not to think that way. Well, acknowledge that and find a way to, as each little thing gets the best of you, find your way through that, find your way to overcome that, and you know exactly what you need to do. There's no cloudedness here. Like, the Seven of Cups is like, yeah, there are options, but the options are insanely clear to you. Like, you don't even need to think about it, is what I'm feeling for this. Do not hesitate to let certain things go, because you want to prove to your younger self that you did this and you can do this. And I feel like that's the big message here for you, because you really, I feel like, need to have those talks with yourself. Be honest of like, hey, I'm just really worried about this, and give yourself that whole like inner talk of like, hey, it's okay, like, this is kind of what being brave is all about. Being brave isn't just about feeling confident. Being brave is being nervous, having a little bit of a worry, but doing something anyway. I feel like this part of being brave is what you're trying to express to yourself. So do not give up on your efforts. And definitely keep journaling. Definitely keep journaling if you have been. I know it's just like a huge help, even if you don't know what to write. I am currently in like a little spiritual journey, and like following like exercises from someone else. And one of the first exercises is to basically journal 3 pages every day. It doesn't have to be 3 like letter size pages, because the notebook I have is like probably about like this tall and like that wide. Like, it's a pretty small little journal, but I know that's been helping me a lot, even if I just write down random stuff. And even if I don't write down everything that I wanted to say, I just kind of write until I feel like I have either not only gotten to those 3 pages, but I feel like I've gotten all of this sort of stuff out of my head. Because you're letting go of a lot, and it doesn't make you not worthy of the work that you did in the past. You are still working insanely hard, so don't give up on that younger you who dreams big, okay? Because those dreams can turn into reality at some point. And I think that point is kind of creeping up on you in a very good way. But anyway, that is all I have for you, Group 1. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that resonated for you. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye! All right, group 2, you got the bat and chose the Hermetic Tarot. So the bat card is very interesting here. It, I want to say oddly enough, has to deal with a lot of rebirth and renewal. The idea that the bat waits for the sun in order for the moon to rise, that kind of has this deep level of inner awakening energy to it, given the energy of the moon, and just a rebirth for what is to come, what do you need to accept in order to pursue this life that you want to pursue. And I feel like the bat is kind of in reverse here because there's more to this than meets the eye. There's a lot of needing to kind of accept the death before the rebirth here. There's a lot of understanding that, you know, for the bat, when it comes out at night, in just a few hours, a new day dawns, and there's no more lingering in the past here. It's a lot of expression of acceptance, expression of, hey, we have to shed this weight. And I feel like mentally you're preparing to actually do this, and is why this card is in reverse, because I feel like this bat being upside down, like it still hasn't fully flown off of the tree yet. I feel like they're still like hanging on to the tree, hanging upside down. Or for some of you, maybe you're not ready to fully leave this darkness just yet. Something about the darkness is probably comfortable for you at this time, but I feel like it's only comfortable because you've been able to genuinely pursue this path of acceptance, so much so that you kind of just like sitting in it and not really using all of the knowledge that you've gained from the acceptance and moving forward with your life with it. Because that's the big like key feeling here of, oh hey, there's just like a lot going on that I feel like you're willing to accept. But anytime we gain a new perspective on something, we have to really use that knowledge to our advantage in a way. We have to understand how this acceptance leads to greater knowledge once that new day dawns. And it's not like you need to consistently hide away from the sun, because this is just a huge metaphor. If you consider yourself a night owl, then maybe understanding that like you can be a night owl, but there is a certain circadian rhythm to your body that like your body does follow, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to stay up late or do night shifts in that sense. But the acknowledgement and acceptance better prepares us to handle those things better. So let's get into what group 2 needs to hear about this darkness and letting go. And one thing I know about the Hermetic Tarot is that this is going to shed all of the light onto the darkness. It's kind of just what it does. There's a level of acceptance, deep acceptance, in a lot of Hermetic belief systems. I'm getting this like other sense of because one thing that this card says like in the description of the book is the bat is a master of the subtle senses, of the underlying forces that cause some things to prosper and others to fade. And it also is this signifier of the ending of a chapter, the closing of a door. But the bat essentially comes in swiftly, encouraging you to move on. But the fact that it talks about the underlying forces that cause some things to prosper and others to fade is that acceptance of like, hey, some things may not work out but a certain like method to your madness may actually work out for you, and you need to trust that. And that could be a big level of acceptance here, because maybe you're not trusting of the things that do work for you, because it's not how maybe anyone else does it, or maybe it's something that looks a little unorthodox or is a bit unorthodox. We have the Universe card, which is the World card in this tarot deck. And this is a huge level of acceptance into a new path here, into a new mindset, into a new mentality about your trust and ability to do the things that are a bit difficult, get a little bit uncomfy, and be accepting of the darkness that's like inside of you. We all have this darkness inside of us. There is always light and dark in this world, and this plainest form of that is like the universe. There is light from the stars, and in the darkest void, darkest or the dark void of space. I don't know what I was trying to say there. Or even in the darkest corners of the universe and certain galaxies, there's still stars that can be seen, galaxies that can be seen from super far away. And it doesn't shy away from there being black holes out there in the universe that also spew light radiation. And they spew a bunch of stuff out of the darkness. They expel the things that it doesn't need. And in that darkness can be something truly enlightening. The Star card. As I said, the word enlightening. The Star is all about healing. But not just healing in any way. This is, like I said, an enlightening version of healing. Accepting all of the dark parts that have led up to this moment. Accepting all of the hard times and saying, you know, it's kind of like working out your muscles. It's like it's got to be uncomfy before you got to feel weak before you can feel strong, is kind of the metaphor. You have to feel a bit uncomfy for a while before your muscles are like, oh no, we're like really strong right now. This is really nice. So be honest with yourself of like what's working for you and what's not. I think this is a huge collective understanding and honest conversation with the self of what's working and what's not. And the thing is, you don't even need to say anything at all. I feel like obviously talks with yourself internally, but you just need to, I want to say, lead yourself by example. And another way I can sort of say this is like action not only speaks a lot more than words can, but action gives you a lot more assurance, trust, confidence than words ever will. You could tell yourself to feel comfortable and confident about something. Oh, Eight of Pentacles. This came up in Group 1's reading. It's interesting. The honest conversation that needs to be had here is the fact that you could tell yourself all of these words, but until you actually commit to the action of them, nothing will ever get done. Everything will still continue to be the same. Because nothing gets done without the action in it. And I feel like you've been working on talking to yourself internally for a while, and while that is great and that's amazing, put it in practice. Put it in practice. Do something that's a bit difficult, and start from just a small step too. But every time, just take a little bit of a bigger step, a bigger step, bigger step, a little by little, each and every time. And I feel like you will find the ability to understand, oh hey, there's these things that don't work out for me, these things that aren't stable, this mindset, this mentality that isn't stable, this external environment that I'm in that isn't stable. And I feel like this needs to be accepted. Rather than worry about what you're losing, worry about the freedom that you're gaining. or even just think about the freedom that you're gaining. Because when we shed this weight and let these things go, we have so much more room for a lot of different, whether it be manifestations or just energy that we wanted to bring into our life. We allow that to have an open door, because when one door closes, another opens, but the door has to close in order for one to open. I think this is the big lesson here, because Four of Wands is all about stability. Eight of Wands is a lot about like things moving pretty quickly. So once that door's closed, I feel like you're gonna see this mindset move pretty quickly, like into your head, but also things move pretty quickly outside of you. No need to rush yourself, but don't wait any longer. There's a lot about this Fool card here that's like, you're just kind of looking out into the future, looking ahead to see the best course of action, to see the best like path for what you're pursuing. So I feel like with this set of cards out here, and I'm going to leave this sideways because I feel like the work that needs to be done, the action that needs to be taken place, is this swift guidance to closing this door and opening a new one. Because the Four of Wands being reversed is that key indicator of like, this is not going to hold all that you truly want it to hold. Something isn't stable enough to hold all of the dreams and aspirations and like support this path that you're going on. But closing that door of something not being stable opens the door for something a lot more stable. Instead of just 4 wands, we've doubled that amount and gone to 8. And that makes it feel not only a lot more freeing, but a lot more trusting in, hey, we have a lot out there that we can pursue, but let's take a little like look over the view of the valley we have from this cliffside and see where the best path is. Even if you want to take a second and like stare at the view that you have of the future of letting this go, acceptance and recognition of the self and what you know you're able to do is the most important part of finding the path that works for you. Because I feel like you don't need to challenge yourself to like the highest degree. You just need to challenge yourself to do something. And I feel like that's the biggest and hardest part about like letting go, is challenging yourself to actually walk the talk of letting go. Not like, let's say you are wanting to check up on a person that you haven't talked to in years, and just that kind of holds you up a bit. Maybe practicing the fact that you're not going to check up on them and you're going to let that whole thing go. Or even because that could be with a friend, that could be with a family member even. It could even be just your mindset around you wanting to pursue something, but you're not really sure about how it's gonna work for you, but you still know intuitively that you need to pursue it, and staying in this other mindset of something is not gonna work for you. Like, best example I can give for that is like me with my dancing. I use my dancing in my life as an example all the time, so if you're tired of hearing it, I'm sorry, but also there's a lot of life lessons I've learned through dance. I could just keep dancing without any sort of dieting, stretching, exercising outside of dancing. Like, I could continue to pursue it in that way, but that's not going to make me strong. That's not going to make me a better dancer. So I have to be honest and open myself up and close that door of like, okay, no, we're going to exercise. We're going to eat the proper nutrients that we need. I still have sweets here and there, but I'm making sure that I'm not eating too much of it, or only eating just crap throughout the day. Like, I treat food as fuel now. And when I close the door on, okay, food is just food, I just want to eat it, I close that door and I open myself up to a whole new world of food that is actually like fulfilling to eat, and it makes me just like, I crave it now because I've trained my body in that way. But I looked out at this view that the Fool is looking at, saw all of the different options that could work for me, and I followed said path. I started just with one foot in front of the other. But one key thing about doing that is recognizing that I had the power to do so. So that's the big key here with the Six of Wands, is you have the power. But you need to recognize that in yourself. Maybe people see and recognize that within you, but you're the last one to kind of catch on, and that's not a bad thing. We kind of need other people to like help us see things within ourselves. So if you have had people tell you, hey, you are super resilient, and I wish I could be as resilient as you are, take that not as, oh damn, if they only knew how hard that was. Take that as like, wait, I was so strong. Instead of, oh, that was so hard, I wish they knew how hard it was. Like, I barely made it out of that. But you made it out. You yourself gained that strength to come out of those dark times. And even maybe this current dark time that you're working through right now. But when one door closes, another opens, and you have to prepare yourself for when that door is ready to open, because it feels like there's no right time but now. There's never going to be a right time for this until it's just you do it. There could be all this chaos going on, and maybe the chaos in your heart is kind of calming down here. But with all the chaos of just being an adult or just living your life, however old you are, there is no better time than right now. I don't know what that really like fully entails for you and how that's resonating, but everything that I've talked about and what you need to do and let go of, there's no better time than right this second. And if you just need to take a small step in letting that stuff go of like, okay, like, there's some stuff in this door, the space of the door, that I can't really shut this door and close this chapter out fully yet. Alright, start with one thing at a time. Remove that stuff that's out of the door. That metaphorical stuff. And I think this is where you'll start seeing not only how fulfilling the future can be, but how happiness isn't something that just, like genuine fulfillment and happiness isn't just something you stumble upon. It's something you work to maintain. Working to make sure that each cup of fulfillment is full, or even partially full. Even if it's just half glass full, you're not seeing it as a half glass empty, you see it as a half glass full. And that's the biggest part to all of this, is when you are working on stuff and maintaining your stability, maintaining your fulfillment in life, you must look at things as a half glass full. And I know that's probably a bit optimistic for some people who are a little more pessimistic, but remove pessimism and optimism out of it. This is just about seeing the effort you've put into the work that you've done. This is nothing about being pessimistic and optimistic. This is just about acknowledging your effort to fill that cup halfway. Because it's not empty. No way in hell is that empty. And the work that you put in is not creating any emptiness out of it. So don't act like it is empty. Oh my god, we have the moon card here in reverse with the bat. You are having a deep level of inner healing that is changing you to your core. And you need to move forward with it, because it's something that is going to create so much more stability for you, but it's not just handed to you. And if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. Genuinely, everyone would be doing it. So the last couple cards you have out here, Six of Wands, Five of Wands reversed. I love how we went from, we have 4, 5, 6, and I don't think we have 7, but we do have 8. 2 8s here again. Oh my god, wait, we had 8 of Pentacles come out in the last reading, and 8 of Wands come out in the last reading as well. And the Fool card, too. I just realized that. Wow. So 6 of Wands, 5 of Wands reversed, 10 of Cups reversed, Knight of Cups reversed, and the Devil reversed. These two right here, the Knight of Cups and the Devil card reversed, is like, you're not giving your energy out to anything externally unless it has something to do with you freeing yourself from a lot of old either negative talk, negative thinking, or thinking that you can't close this door, you just can't let this go, all of this different stuff that you can convince yourself of. You are giving yourself your own sense of fulfillment out of this. And when it comes to this moon card, it's almost like you're not trying to help any other thing that you see on this path of the moon card. You're following the moonlight because at some point the sun will rise again. And the thing that is guiding you is the light of the sun reflecting off of the moon. The only way you're able to see in this darkness is because there is light within you reflecting on the darkest part of you and giving you that little bit of full moonlight in order to see in the dark. And this seeing in the dark is going to, and probably has been, opening up so many old things that you didn't really expect. And do not put yourself in any sort of blame of like, why is this opening up again? It's because there's just a little more work that needs to be done. It doesn't mean you need to start from square one again. You just need to remind yourself, solidify and reinstate these purposeful, I want to say, actions and tasks that is you working to let these go. You working on letting a lot of this energy go, even if it's just stuck energy within you. Whatever you have to do in order to heal yourself, you have to really express that this is something that you needed. You need this healing. You don't need this stuff that's going to hold you back or keep that closed door from actually closing. It's like there could be some fabric that's caught in the bottom of the door and it's not letting it fully close. You need to fully close that door. And the Knight of Cups is like, nope, I'm not giving this energy out to anyone. This is my energy. This is my energy I'm going to I'm going to use to guide myself in the dark. And the Devil card in reverse is just reiterating the fact that all of this is removing a lot of pain and a lot of hurt that we feel like we keep ourselves trapped with. Like, a big thing in the past for me was I thought I was going to stay in Pennsylvania like all my life. I thought I was never going to be able to, meet someone, or even like find my way out of the state of Pennsylvania, because that's originally where I'm from. I met someone and put in the work to make sure that I could drive my little Ford Focus all the way to the Midwest of Kansas. I had a little bit of help halfway through, but the first journey was a 10-hour car ride, and I felt so free. But I was very disciplined in where I was stopping, like the rest stops I was stopping at. And one of them, I thought that I put in the right address for the rest stop, and apparently I didn't, which I had to take some time to like pull off on the side of the road, find a gas station, and just, use the bathroom really quick. I even was like prepared to, if I didn't make it to a bathroom, like an actual bathroom, I was prepared for that. And every time I think back to that drive, it didn't ever feel like 10 hours. It felt like 2. Like, from what I could remember, because I feel like I was just so free in closing the door behind me and never looking back. And it's not like when I go back to visit my family in Pennsylvania, am I reopening that door? No, I'm opening a brand new door. I'm opening something brand new back when I go back to visit them. It's something that takes a lot of effort. But once you close that door and you feel confident and you feel ready, there's no better time to just hit the road and hit the road of the path than right that second. Even if it takes a little planning, even if you have to take some time to be like, all right, let's look at our options here. Just take one of these Eight of Wands ideas and move forward with it. Even if it, I was talking about in group one's reading with journaling, if you're not one to journal, just journal a single page and maybe you doodle on it a little bit, draw like some stick figures or something, but just start, okay? It doesn't need to be perfect, it doesn't need to be polished. Hell, my car was packed to the brim and it did not look pretty, but my car was all good, all in good shape, and it was ready for the drive. So I took the chance right when I did. There's also a big chunk of me moving out here that I didn't fully tell my family about until the last minute, and that was really hard on me, but I knew that I had to kind of do it because they didn't really fully believe in my ability to do something big like that. Um, and the fact that I had already had it planned, they kind of were like, oh, we were kind of wrong about her ability to do something, and I really kind of changed a lot of minds with that. And if that's kind of what you're looking for, you don't need to tell anyone about your plans. You don't even need to express why you want to do something in a certain way, why you want to take a certain path. If it's for the betterment of you and your soul and to free you from things that you've kept yourself trapped by or felt like that you were trapped and locked down with, you have the ability to pursue that and not say a single fucking word about it. And I believe in your ability to do so. Let the light of the full moon guide you. And thank you for letting me read your cards. That is all I have for you, Group 2. And as always, I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye! Alright, Group 3, you got the Nightingale and the Peacock. And I think I'm just going to read the book verbatim for each of these cards before we really get into it. But I really quickly want to say that you are awakening something powerful and you're using it to your best ability right now. That's the biggest thing I can gather from this. So we are going to read from the book, just to kind of quickly get through the 2 cards, because not every time, 2 cards don't really come out every single time, but when they do, I take it pretty seriously. Oh my god, and fun fact, the Nightingale is right before the Peacock card. That's interesting. Okay. The Nightingale, a fearless voice, speech, communication, or song. The song of the nightingale is otherworldly, the simple brown bird, almost unnoticeable among the flashy plumage of other birds, transports its listener to the realm of poetry. Nightingale energy is with us when we write, compose, and especially when we sing. It reminds us that music heals the deepest wounds. This card indicates a need to open the bridge between the heart and the voice. Is there something you need to say? How long has it been since you sang? Turn it up, write it down, and let it out. Oh boy, I'm already... What I said earlier was already kind of synchronistic to these cards. So the next one is the Peacock. This is inner beauty, compassion, a simulator of anything. The beauty of the peacock is unrivaled. It is easy to think it comes from the plumage, but the secret of the peacock is that the beauty resides within and extends outward indefinitely. This adept creature can assimilate or digest all experiences in life, so it does not harbor resentment, conflict, or past pain with its psyche. The peacock type is extremely rare. Not many of us have reached this advanced level of acceptance of the self and others. When you've truly reached a point of this acceptance, you sing and speak without any thought. Like, there's no thought behind this card. It's just like, this is just what you do, this is how you work, this is how you operate. And I think the biggest lesson and message here is that do not give up on what's working for you. Do not give up on spreading your wings, and do not give up on the things that you feel like you still need to work on. Like, if you're like, oh, well, I'm not perfect and there's still stuff I can work on, take that as like a sign of strength, that you're willing to go within those dark parts of you and accept these parts that normally most people wouldn't fully accept. So without further ado, I want to get into the cards because I feel like they're really going to speak loudly. We have the Wildwood Tarot here, which is based off of a lot of Celtic, Druidic imagery and themes and mythology. So If you recognize some stuff, you may. Oh, we have the Nine of Swords, technically, out here. Dedication. So, Nine of Swords reversed. Interesting. Remember when I said that if the deck wants to make a card come out reversed, it will? No matter if I, like, the way I flipped it or not, kind of a deal? Alright. You are very much overcoming a lot of things here. Eight of Wands again. Eight of Wands is the theme here for all of these readings. First three cards on the board. Nine of Swords reversed, the Star card, and Eight of Wands, Hearthfire. So with this energy here, there's a lot going on with things that you know that kind of ruminate around in your mind. And right when they start doing that, this is where you intuitively express yourself, whether it is through music or not. You express yourself because you know how powerful that healing can be, and it gives you more energy to pursue the signs and synchronicities that you could be seeing in your life, because there's a lot of meaning to what you do. I feel there's a lot that is not just effort that's put in, but effort in order to, I want to say, regain a balance of ideas, regain the reminder of, like, it's almost like all these people in this card is like all these different sides and selves of you working together as a team in order to express and heal the things that you haven't fully healed yet, because there's always going to be new things we learn about ourselves, about our life, about the past. And your inner strength is the most important thing to you currently, because that's where you're able to not only do the grandest and deepest healing, but you're able to use that strength to keep going, to keep moving on, to keep moving forward, and not let anything stop you. And I feel like this is going to be a very quick reading, because you kind of, don't need to let me tell you twice about it, but there's a lot of, like, you feel personally that you don't need to hear all of this boastful stuff about yourself in order to move forward and feel confident. But sometimes we just need a reminder, and I feel like for you, that the healing that you've been working on, the healing that you've been doing, has been a great effort and a great purpose for your soul to move forward in the things that you are choosing to move forward with in your life. And it's not something that is, like, sugar-coated at all, and you will be damned if anyone sugarcoats your stuff, because you're like, no, that's just not the honest truth. And I feel like if people are, if there's any sort of community surrounding you, they recognize the wisdom and the knowledge that you have in something, and how it's okay if they're not able to fully digest something right away. This happens with practice, and I feel like you've been singing this inner song of healing so much for so long that it's so intuitive to you that you barely even notice how healing yourself has been healing other people and getting them inspired to recognize what is truly, like, great about themselves, and accepting and healing parts of themselves so they can express all of the abundance of their inner world to themselves. Because the Six of Wands here is all about abundance, and we got Six of Wands in the last reading. That's really interesting here. Earth signs are collectively going through it. Oh, and the Star card was here too. Ooh. And right when you feel like you aren't sure which direction to go in, you look inward instantly. You're like, all right, what do I need to do? That's where, like, this Nightingale card is reversed, and it's making me feel like this is just so intuitive to you. You don't even think about it twice. You don't even realize how you're basically shooting arrows with your feet here, because I just see this person's foot on this bow and arrow, and they're like, how are you able to do that? And it's like, well, this is just kind of what I've always done. And I feel like you still kind of feel like you're at the beginning stages of something, but when people look on from the outside looking in, you're actually a lot more intelligent and powerful and agile mentally to them than I think you've ever seen yourself. And I think this is where it's like, you don't really want to be boastful. Like, this peacock energy is like, they're a peacock, but they don't want to really brag about all the fancy feathers that they have. They want to teach you more about the wisdom of not necessarily being humble, but how knowledge and wisdom is a lot of power, and being able to accept yourselves and go into dark parts of you is the most healing you will get out of something. Instead of being like, hey, look at me, look at how flashy I am. So when people may be even like taken back by your beauty, it's the beauty you express of life. Because not many people probably love life as much as you do, because you enjoy the low moments just as much as you enjoy the high moments. And it's not like you enjoy like going through pain. It's more of this idea of like, you enjoy the work that you do on yourself to heal yourself from the pain that's happening currently, and maybe the pain of the past here. So recognizing that there's always like these indecisive moments about ourselves, these indecisive times of like, we could go left, we could go right, or we could look within. Looking within has always been your option, or even just like that last resort of like, you tried to go left, you tried to go right, they didn't work. All right, so now let's try something completely different, try something completely new. And the Six of Wands is a big recognition of like, that takes a lot of self-awareness, and that's not something everyone always has. And I think that's the big thing that you're being grateful for, because you're seeing how much time that you've spent on something. Like, I don't know if you're seeing this in the Wheel of Fortune card, but this is like the classic way that people would like stitch patterns into clothes. This is the old style way that they would design these patterns, and each little thread took a lot of tedious meticulous time to create this pattern and to be accurate in the stitching and where each thread was going. But over time you create this beautiful design, this beautiful shirt that is a reflection of how each and every little bit of healing, each and every little bit of thread of a memory you pulled at, and the thing that you were becoming aware on, led you to this grand understanding. And not everyone is fully aware how much work you've done on yourself until they see the after product of it. They're like, oh my goodness, like, you aren't just walking your talk, you are embodying your talk each and every second of every single day that you live, and you don't even think twice about it. And I want you to be grateful for the work that you've done. The work that you've done to create this abundance of knowledge here, and this abundance of recognition within the self in order to heal the self. This is something that isn't just like some minuscule level of healing. Like, you have done the, I want to say, grandest amount of healing I think anyone's ever seen you do before. And there's people that are just in awe because they're so proud, but also like, how did you do that? How did you do this? And I feel like your answer is simple, is, you know, we have to go through these dark parts of ourselves, but the healing is what guides you through. The healing isn't just some quick, easy way to get over something, get around it. It's a guide through the dark parts, the dark things that either traumatized us, overwhelmed us, gave us anxiety. We have to take that time for ourselves, because there's not going to be some external fix or a choice that's going to be right or wrong. It's all about looking inward and accepting things for what is. We were traumatized by something because this happened to us. There's like removing good or bad and who was right or wrong. It doesn't matter. This thing happened, or we feel this way because this thing happened in this way, and that left a mark. And this mark is something that you are creating beauty and art out of, instead of resentment, instead of like, I want to say, anger or pain. You're not trying to continue the pain anymore. You're trying to actively heal it. And I think this is a huge lesson and message of like being grateful for your work that you've done for yourself. You're like, oh yeah, I'll constantly see that this is a half glass full, and then not even realize how much you are filling your cup to the brim and appreciating every single sip of it that you've worked on, because you know how much that changes the mindset you have about the world and about how you pursue things in the world. And I feel like a big part of this chunk of the reading is not just like reminding yourself to be grateful, but also don't be shy for the hard work you've put in. Don't be shy for the hard work and time it took to move into this energy, to understand this energy. Oh, hello. 7 of Pentacles here. And the key word on the card is just healing. 7 of Pentacles, healing. And get the last couple cards out here for group 3. And I feel like you're at the beginning stages of completely revamping your mindset of how you've been healing. Like I said, we have 7 of Pentacles in the Tower technically here, but this is called the Blasted Oak because it's an oak tree that got hit instead of a tower. This whole path for you has been a constant reforming, restructuring, tearing down. Every act of destruction, you had an act of creation afterwards in order to free you. Now, don't worry, YouTube, this person isn't really showing anything, but I want to show you how on their arms and legs, there are these like ropes that I never really noticed before. And the act of destruction created an act of freedom. Like, this person is freed from whatever was binding them to this tree, whatever was keeping them locked down, whatever was holding them to that tree. And I feel like instead of holding yourself to the tree, to a structure that wasn't going to build you up anymore, you held yourself accountable for the work that needed to be done. 8 of Pentacles again, 8 of Wands and 8 of Pentacles. The theme here is all about, ooh, sorry, I hit my knee on the desk. I was trying to reposition myself. The theme here for all of these readings is the work that you put in allows you to pursue work outside of you, allows you to pursue the ideas that you may have not been able to actually express or pursue before. And you've pursued that, but now you're doing this and then some. Here, group 3. You got to be honest with the skills that you've gained along the way, and I feel like a lot of this is just being grateful for the fact that, like, you're not just a beginner at this anymore. You're not just someone who only has healed a little bit. You're someone that, like this otter here, you keep diving in. You keep walking on land, you keep diving into this ebb and flow of life and accepting the ebb and flow as graceful as you can. Because this otter, it doesn't even think twice. It just knows that, okay, if it wants to play with the rocks down at the bottom of the little pond, and it's a little bit of heavy rain the night before, there's just going to be a lot more water there to swim through. And it's that level of acceptance, that deep acceptance of like, okay, if you want to do something and the circumstances are a little different, it just may be a little bit more difficult, but you're still going to dive into that water. You're not going to waste any time, and all of this energy you've been giving yourself, you forgot how just beautiful this work that you've done on yourself is. And it's not like you've forgotten to be grateful for it. It's just like, you're not a beginner at this. Like, you have reached this stage of acceptance that isn't really seen in a whole lot of people. And I know you don't want to think yourself as better than them, but you are actively more aware than you ever would. Oh my god, Page of Vessels, which is Cups, and King of Cups here with the Heron. Oh, I love this. I love this. And on the bottom of the deck is the Chariot, which is also called the Archer here, because the two things guiding the Chariot in this deck is the hunting dogs guiding the Archer to hit their mark. Now, you think of yourself as just this little Page of Cups of like, oh, I'm just diving in, I'm just doing this little thing here. Other people see you as this King of Cups, this fully mastered, matured energy of fulfillment and acceptance. And it's not just about like what makes you happy, it's accepting the things that are hard, are uncomfy, are difficult, are tedious, and acknowledging that that takes work, it takes time, it takes following your intuition and listening to your inner voice and not just the ego. Listening to the inner voice that of what you truly need to do, healing the parts of you that you know need to be healed, extracting the things that you don't need anymore, letting them go to the wayside, and working through all of this and say, yeah, like I could be new to this thing that I'm healing, but you're not new to this process. You are not new at all to this process. And everything that's been guiding you has been not just your intuition, but it's your ego and intuition working hand in hand. Usually with the Chariot card, I see it as like this big, like ego and intuition are working hand in hand here to guide us into the path that is meant for our highest good. And I feel like it's not only just guiding you into the path of your highest good, but it's guiding you to take aim and action on the things that you actively want to pursue, the passions you want to pursue, the work that you want to do. Even if the work is hard and takes some extra skills here, you're going to learn those extra skills. But not only do people see you as this, fully educated person and like really, really strong-willed, strong-minded individual, the whole reason that you're able to do this is because you're humble enough to start from square one. You're humble enough to say, hey, I may not be new to this process, but this is a brand new task. Like, I'm not going to come in here and say I'm the shit and I know everything. You're willing to open up and learn. And that's what makes a master at the inner world, the inner emotions, the inner self. That's what makes someone an expert on these things. So if you have people looking to you for help, but you got to be honest in the tedious tasks that it takes, but also how when you do this enough, it comes so intuitively and such with practice that I also feel like to express your gratitude for the work that you've already done and the work that you continue to do, sing it. If there's a song that fully resonates to you, even if it's just a few words that you feel like you need to alter or maybe not fully resonate, still sing it. Because sometimes there's songs that, like, there's a certain word that we're like, yeah, it's whatever. Like, there's a bunch of songs that people will sing about, like, I'm an independent person, I don't need anyone to tie me down, but then they are actively, like, married to somebody, which, like, you don't have to, like, think about that part. But if it's an empowering song, you can still take that and sing it loud and sing it proud for a different meaning for you. And a big song that like went insanely viral that had nothing to do with what people were using it for, like the viral trend, was Billie Eilish's song Wildflower. The song lyrics of I see her in the back of my mind all the time, people were using that and expressing it in a way of they see their younger selves in the back of their mind all the time. And I think this is where being able to express yourself in this way and express that like you've seen yourself work from square one, step one, and you've seen where you've been able to put in this effort, put in this time to get to like square 100, step 100 kind of a thing. But it isn't without the effort to completely change your mindset about something. And this idea in this gratitude you have for yourself is going to completely change your worldview and how you can build yourself up even stronger than before, each and every time. So be grateful for the work that you have done. And it's not to say that you're ungrateful, but there's no amount of gratitude that, like, could probably even be expressed for how maybe your younger self is so grateful that you've worked so hard and continue to work hard now. So be grateful for all of these things, and I'm grateful that you stuck around through the end of this reading. I am super, super grateful that I get to read you guys these cards. And even if you're just grateful for being able to live your life and wake up every day and pursue the things that you genuinely want to pursue, allow yourself that time in that moment, because it's going to completely shatter anything that wasn't strong enough to hold you up and build you up back even stronger. And you know this, I don't need to tell you twice, but thank you for letting me read your cards. That is all I have for you. And as always, well, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!